more airplanes than you would find on a single aircraft carrier. So it is a big operation in a big country.
2 U.S. airmen were killed and another 2 servicemen injured when a man armed with a handgun attacked a bus carrying troops at Germany's Frankfurt airport. Police have arrested a 21-year-old Kosovan man. The U.S. Army has filed an additional 22 counts against Bradley Manning. The soldier already faces 12 charges in connection with providing thousands of classified government documents to the WikiLeaks website. Thursday is the last day for WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to lodge an appeal against a decision by the UK High Court. He's to be extradited to Sweden to face questioning on sexual assault allegations. Assange denies the accusations. The British court gave the go-ahead for Assange's extradition last Thursday. The trial of a CIA contractor accused of killing 2 Pakistanis has resumed in Lahore. Security has been stepped up around the jail in Pakistan, where 36-year-old Raymond Davis is being held. He maintains he acted in self-defense. The U.S. says he has diplomatic immunity and should be repatriated. The case has strained relations between the United States and Pakistan and inflamed anti-American sentiment there. And those are the latest headlines.
As new media takes on old powers,
we are as determined as ever to hold powerful and abusive organizations to account.
And cyber disobedience exposes powerful governments.
Free expression has its limits.
Websites treated as hostile territories.
If we lived in Great Britain, 007 would be getting him.
Leakers as terrorists.
A dead man can't leak stuff.
And hackers as insurgents. We ask, who will win the information wars? This is Empire. Hello and welcome to Empire, coming to you from the prestigious School of Journalism here at Columbia University in New York City for the second in our 2-part series about the power of information in the age of globalization and how it transforms our lives and the relationship between people and power. Once upon a time, the world got its news from just a few sources.
This is London.
But those once all-powerful voices
That's the way it is.
are now competing with an ever-multiplying cacophony.
From Moscow.
There are hundreds of news channels around the world. Any citizen with a cell phone or a laptop can be a reporter of sorts.
Have a good evening, go out and register to vote.
What we're talking about now is a kind of explosion around data that is transforming the very idea of news.
We stand for a single internet where all of humanity has equal access to knowledge and ideas.
But that makes it impossible for governments or corporations to control their most powerful currency, information. Even in the bastion of free speech, the USA, the conflict continues between a government determined to keep its secrets and whistleblowers even more determined to disclose them. 30 years ago, as the Vietnam War raged, the New York Times published the Pentagon Papers and brought the wrath of the US government down on Daniel Ellsberg, the young military analyst who leaked them.
They took a number of criminal actions against me, including an attempt to incapacitate me totally. Those were their words explicitly, to incapacitate Daniel Ellsberg totally, which could have meant anywhere from killing me to perhaps just putting me in the hospital for some time.
Soon after, the president was forced to resign after stunning revelations by 2 Washington Post reporters, aided by a whistleblower known only as Deep Throat.
Nothing's writing on this except the First Amendment of the Constitution, freedom of the press, and maybe the future of the country.
Today, whistleblowers go global instantly. WikiLeaks is shaking the world, posting shocking videos.
Light them all up.
Come on, fire!
Hundreds of thousands of classified documents about the Iraq and Afghanistan war. Ports and diplomatic cables that embarrassed leaders from Kenya to Argentina. Julian Assange founded WikiLeaks.
Media has a right and an obligation to the public to get out information that the public needs to know.
But many in the US disagree.
If we lived in Great Britain, 007 would be getting.
He needs to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and if that becomes a problem, we need to change the law.
Julian Assange is engaged in terrorism.
I would argue that it's closer to being a high-tech terrorist than the Pentagon Papers.
Have over 2,000 sites now across the world. They're going to have to take down all 2,000 if they want to stop the release of this material.
The American government is investigating whether it can charge Assange with espionage. Meanwhile, Private Bradley Manning, the 22-year-old suspected of being behind the largest leak of state secrets in history, has been in maximum security custody since last July. Today, the free flow of information is overturning autocrats across the Arab world. Who knows where the next domino will fall? Joining me to discuss the challenge of new media to governments and governed to the dictators, and the dictated is Carl Bernstein. You are a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter who famously helped oust a president. Amy Goodman, best-selling author and the dame of multimedia's Democracy Now! Professor Emily Bell, Director of Digital Journalism here at Columbia University and formerly at the British Guardian newspaper. Clay Shirky, you're a professor, author, and guru of new media. And last but not least, Yevgeny Morozov, cyber skeptic and author of The Net Delusion, The Dark Side of Internet Freedom. Ladies, gents, welcome to Empire. Carl, let me start with you. What's the difference between these WikiLeaks phenomena and those in the 60s and the 70s, from the Watergates, Pentagon Papers, and so on?
Well, first of all, the WikiLeaks involves the dissemination of raw information by an organization determined to simply disseminate that information without commenting on it, basically, without putting it into context. Yes, we have these fabulous new tools and much greater speed that we have to be much more careful about context and sometimes slowing down to get it right. That an intricate part of the political process, particularly that of free nations and becoming free, has been information, going back to the American Revolution, to broadsides, put up on trees. That's how information spread. So all I'm suggesting is that this is somewhat a continuum. And I would choose to look at WikiLeaks in that continuum rather than an isolated phenomenon.
In fact, WikiLeaks wouldn't have had the exposure it had without the New York Times.